Peace, family. Peace meaning positive energy always creates elevation. With that being said, man, I want to say grand rising to all the gods and goddesses as well, man. It's early in the morning, man, and for some reason, I just felt like it was necessary that I get on this device and give you guys this this message that was on my heart this morning. All right, and so what I want to talk about is very sensitive in nature, not only to me but to a lot of individuals that go through this. You understand what I'm saying? Because whether you want to believe it or not, man, there are a lot of individuals in this society that we stay in that is actually being subjected to what is very known as, gang stalking. All right. And I always seem to come back to this subject because I feel like a lot of people overlook this, man. You're going to have people that's going to be in the comment section that are agents, okay, that are trolls. They're going to try to come in and they're going to try to make it seem like everything that I'm saying or other individuals that may speak on this subject is a complete lie and we're suffering from what is called schizophrenia, all right? All these legal terms that this programming that this program society came up with, right? Which don't even matter, right? All those terms do not matter. They use these terms to negate the fact that you are actually going through the things that you are going through, all right? And so these terms are actually used so that if they succeed in their mission, they're able to push the fact that you may have been, some of you guys go to hospitals and things like that, and you get diagnosed with these things. So if certain things happen to you, then they can say that, this happened because he was suffering from this false legal term that they've came up with, all right? And we see this happen so many times when a lot of the people that, end up transitioning in environments such as like jail and things like that, from them neglecting to do the things that they were supposed to do when they were given a job. All right. So they use these terms to make it seem like the person was going through a certain situation before they even came into the facility, right? But with that being said, man, I've noticed a lot of people, man, that move outside of their communities to these small towns, all right? And then this is when they start being subjected to what is known as what I call gang stalking, all right? Okay? And so this is because, we have to understand that when we move to these small communities, it's just like for those of you who have once lived in a small community, you know that when you live in those communities, by the community being so small, there isn't going to be too many people inside that community that you don't know. You feel me? And this is because, we have families that live inside these communities that have never left the community. They've lived inside these communities from the day they were born, and they transitioned within that same community, all right? Their mothers came from that community, and so on and so forth. So they have generations of people that came into that community, all right? And so when someone moves in from that community that is not particularly from that community, they stick out like a sore thumb. You feel me? And so, this makes it easy for them to become targeted. You feel me? Because what you have to understand is a lot of these small communities do not like new people coming to their communities because they feel like the people that come into these communities bring a lot of riffraff into it, okay? They raise the rate of the crime rate in these communities and things like that, okay? So they don't want them living in these communities, right? And so they put together I feel like a little team that moves in a certain way. And so what you have to understand is that also when you move to these communities, you see a lot of Masonic temples and things like that in these communities. So that alone should let you know that, for those of you who actually pay attention, okay, for those of you who do not pay attention, for one, you need to probably pay more of attention to what's going on in terms of the community that you decide to live in, because it could be very detrimental to you and your family, okay? So you need to open your eyes enough to know what is exactly in your community. And if there is a Masonic temple in the community, you can easily Google it, all right? But going back to what I was just saying, when you notice certain things in these type of communities, such as Masonic temples and things like that, for me, that's a tall tale sign of the evil that could be possibly going on inside these communities, all right? So when you see this type of activity, that lets you know that there is a strong presence of unknown activity that can possibly be taking place inside these communities. And a lot of the ones who have these temples, man, these are the ones that thrive the hardest, all right? And so when anytime you dealing with these type of people who involve themselves in these type of brotherhoods, sisterhoods, so on and so forth, it's easy for you to be involved, end up in one of their rituals. You see what I'm saying? And so for me, I would say this is one of the reasons why they would want to target you. Who else would they target? Why would I target someone who's been living in this community for years and years, 50, 60 years? Their family members have been living in this community for 50 or 60 years, rather than target someone who's just moved into this community and know that no one will really notice them coming up missing. You see what I'm saying? So, I say this to say that, we have to be careful in terms of these communities that we live in. I hear a lot of stories, or I see a lot of stories as I stroll through Facebook, YouTube, and things like that. I see a lot of stories of people who've had their homes targeted while they're left. Cameras have been put in their home so that they can be watched when the families, when they leave the home, they can go in and do certain things in terms of the home, so on and so forth. Me, myself, I've been subjected to these things, personally. And so this is why I feel like it's also necessary that I bring things like this to the light, because this is a part of us becoming awakened to what is going on in our society. You feel what I'm saying? And so with that being said, when you talk about brotherhoods and things like that, you have to understand that when you see these temples inside these communities, it's going to be easier for them to get away with things like this, because when you talk about a brotherhood, such as the Masons, the Eastern Stars and things like that, then you talk about a group of people that are on a larger scale that may be involved in terms of like the judges, the lawyers, the law enforcement, the doctors at the hospital, all those things. You understand what I'm saying? So this is how this situation can easily be swept under the rug inside this community. And then certain people, they come to the communities and they speak more than they listen, all right? They end up going to work at a job and they start to tell people everything that's going on in their lives, okay? They're not being cautious of the things that they're saying. You feel me? So you go into a job and you looking for friends, and you're not suspecting that something like this may be going on in this community, because let's be frank, a lot of the chosen ones, majority of us come from these low poverty neighborhoods where we don't see a lot of these things going on, and it's the tall tale sign of these things not going on is the fact that the community is not thriving in a way that is being productive, in terms of like there's not a lot of jobs for people to work. There's not a lot of activities in terms of like, community centers for the children to be able to thrive, and so on and so forth. So you don't see these type of activities. You don't see this type of behavior taking place. So when you come to a smaller community, you start to, you're unaware of it. You vulnerable to the fact of. So when you go to work and you're looking for new friends and you starting to try to create this new life inside these communities, you often make the people aware of you, around you, aware of just exactly what is going on with you, who you came down here with. Because I know people, they come down here and say, oh, me and my wife moved down here by ourselves, just us and our kids. We don't have any family down here. Or some of you may say, I moved away from the town. I came down here by myself. I just got me and one other friend down here, so on and so forth. And, we down here by ourselves. And you're actually, telling them the things that they need to know because you don't know who it is that you're talking to. You see what I'm saying? And unbeknownst to you, the person that you're talking to, they could be involved inside of, these brotherhoods and these sisterhoods. And this is very real. It's gonna be people that's gonna get in the comments and they gonna say things like this. Probably not on the YouTube page that we on right now because our channel isn't that big, but I guarantee you, when you go to a lot of my Facebook posts and I'm speaking on subjects like this, you're gonna see a lot of the paid agents that's gonna be inside these comment sections that's gonna make it seem like, oh, he's lying, so on and so forth, because they want to take away from the fact. You feel me? They want to try to plant this seed in your head that this thing is not taking place. You feel me? See, what you have to understand that it takes a community to run an organization. And you decide what that community of people are, who that community of people are. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, you start to go to work and you start to tell people everything that's going on with you in your life, and you make yourself vulnerable to these attacks. You feel me? And so even if you are around here, because they know money is power in terms of the way people think. You feel me? They know that they can use money to manipulate the people around you to become involved in the circumstance or the situation. You see what I'm saying? So it's easier for them to start, bribing people with material things to be able to pull you into what's going on. And this is when you start to see the behavior of those around you start to change in terms of them trying to make you out to be somebody that you're not, in terms of you being crazy and you suffering from depression. These are all the stories that I hear when I hear people transitioning, them suffering from depressions. They couldn't take what was going on with the people around them in terms of the people that they may have lost in presence. See, they use certain things around you. Oh, they were suffering from traumatic situations, or they were suffering from mental illnesses. They use these type of things to try to, give a reasoning for whatever it is that you did. You feel me? I just seen this happen, y'all. I promise y'all. The most recentest thing that I seen happen was on Facebook from a person that I personally know. Her family was trying to make it seem like she overdosed because she couldn't take the loss of the people that she lost around her, bro. And I'm here to tell y'all, this is the games that they play, bro. So you have to be very strategic in terms of the way that you move, okay? You have to make it very known that you're not suicidal, that you're not, you're not suicidal, you don't do drugs, you don't do so on and so forth, because these are the things that they're going to try to use, okay, when they take you out. And I've spoken on this certain situation with the individuals that become involved in it. They get a sense of they get a sense that they're protected because they make them feel like they're involved with this brotherhood, when in all actuality they haven't done the rituals to even be involved in the society that they would think that they are involved in, okay? So, this is what goes on, y'all. This is exactly what goes on. You have to question everything around you when you dealing with this matrix, because I'm telling y'all, everything that goes on does not happen by coincidence, bro. I've gotten so many downloads, man, from situations like this, man, and it's to the point where I feel like the souls of the people that has transitioned are speaking to me from their graves. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And they're urging me to tell their stories. And I'm trying to figure out, how can I tell their stories in a way that you know, wouldn't put me and my family in more harm than I'm already in, more say. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Per se, you feel me? Because I'm the one who really is the targeted individual, be being the chosen one. You have to understand that there's only going to be one chosen one from every family, and that's a fact. Everyone else is going to be asleep to the fact of everything that's going on. They just go with the flow of the everyday programming that was instilled in them from the beginning of birth. So when it comes to society, you most definitely have to question everything. When you see a person doing well and they go to the hospital dealing with a minor situation and they transition, you need to question that. You see what I'm saying? I don't care how a person transitioned. You need to question it. Even though we understand that transitioning is not a bad thing, it's something that I feel like is most definitely necessary for you to question so that you can be aware of the tricks that's, or whatever that's being laid around you, because I'm telling you that these communities are involved in it. It's a system that's being ran inside these communities that it's gonna be hard for you to get out of. Just take a look at Sandra Bland. If you don't think that the community was involved with that, how could they possibly get away with something like that? She was pulled over for a traffic ticket. She was and you could tell by her post, the things that she posted on her platforms, that she was a very strong individual in terms of the way, she presented herself. Her presence did not give off an energy that would say that she would commit a suicidal act. But yet and still, because they know that whatever they do, they're going to get away with it, because there's so many people that's involved with it, that's in higher places in terms of like the judicial system, then they feel like they're going to get away with it. But even though we know that they're not, because you have to understand that their karma is going to come to them, whether it be in this lifetime, it's going to be in the after lifetime, and in the lifetimes that they come, that they encounter in the future. They're going to have to atone to those acts that they did. You see what I'm saying? For those of us who do have a soul and partake in these things, because we understand that everyone in this society or in this realm that we stay in does not have a soul. All right? And so with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys as I came, and I want you guys to meditate on that for a minute, all right? Because I think it's really something that we need to most definitely meditate on. All right? And so with that being said, I leave you as I come, and I want you guys to be aware, because to be aware is to be alive. And as always, peace, family. Peace meaning positive energy always creates elevation. Ashe.